I launched my wellness unit a couple of months ago, it is very important to know that just as we are focusing on lifestyle changes in order to bring a healthier population, we must be mindful that disaster preparedness is also a way of life for us in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and we cannot leave that alone. Every year, you hear the alarm, prepare, prepare, prepare. And it is awesome that we do have a system in place, but we cannot overemphasize the importance that preparedness is key to ensure that the impact of any cyclone or hurricane is mitigated by our results. Ladies and gentlemen, with any disaster, many islands are affected differently. As a result, there's loss of life, there's damage to housing, the economic instability, the migration of people trying to find work, and it also brings excessive grief. Now, I can tell you from the ministry, and Kalaluki can tell you, that we're still doing a lot of psychological clinics in the areas that have been affected from Hurricane Dorian. And the impact on our children. As a matter of fact, last summer, we had a psychological program with the Ministry of Youth in order for us to be able to look at how the impacts of these tropical cyclones affect our children. So that mental health component is very important, and we will definitely have some discussions on ways on how families can get the necessary support to begin to address the post-traumatic stress disorder that is associated with these devastating hurricanes.
I'm Carissa Williamson, and this has been Your Government in Action, a presentation of Bahamas Information Services. Join us on Tuesday evenings, where we bring you highlights, coverage, and information as we continue to do what we do best, linking people and government.
Coming up in the news, a $1.6 million investment for extensive renovations at the local morgue. Plus, Silver Airways launches non-stop flights to Abaco and Eleuthera. We have the details. And a 19-year-old and a juvenile found guilty of kidnapping. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, as the morgue at the Rand Memorial Hospital continues to undergo extensive renovations, Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville and Public Hospital Authority's Managing Director Abinette Rolle recently shared details about the renovation process and partnerships established with local morticians. The minister reaffirming that this is a $1.5 million investment, as the anticipated completion date is scheduled for July. Simone Davis has tonight's top story.
Since assuming office in September of 2021, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, Minister of Health and Wellness, has been working diligently to address the challenges inherited by his ministry, which includes the morgue at the Rand Memorial Hospital.
Well, the morgue here in Grand Bahama has been an issue when I became minister. Coming out of Hurricane Dorian, a lot of work needed to be done. A contract of $1.5 million was awarded. The renovations to the morgue is going extremely well, and we hopefully by the end of July we would have that asset up and running in a better condition so that loved ones can review their remains of their loved ones in a honorable fashion, whereas our pathologists will be able to do autopsies more efficiently, and the list goes on and on.
Concerns from residents regarding the proper storage of bodies at the morgue have been acknowledged by Abinette Rolle, Managing Director at the Public Hospitals Authority. She highlights the need for improvement.
Of course, we have heard about the complaints in terms of the maintenance of the temperature. And so for this project, we entered into a partnership with one of your local morticians who are assisting us in terms of of maintaining the bodies and also assisting when we have to use that facility for autopsy. So right now, no, it's not hampering the progress, and persons' loved ones are being stored in the correct temperature, in the correct place through partnership with one of the companies here on island.
Roll says while they anticipate a better morgue facility come July, they are also expecting some delays in equipment coming to the island.
There is an anticipation of some delay, and that's secondary to the supplies chain issue that we are having. But the morgue is progressing. The equipments have been approved and have moved forward to be able to secure them, and we're just waiting for that to be completed.
Okay. Last week, government officials broke ground for a new $200 million hospital on Grand Bahama. The construction will take place in phases, with the first phase consisting of a nearly 60,000 square foot clinic. Phase 2 will include an inpatient surgical suite and an urgent care facility, while phase 3 will involve the construction of an acute care hospital with 126 inpatient beds. These developments mark a significant step forward in healthcare infrastructure for the region. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
Thanks, Simone. Well, good news coming in from the tourism sector. Abaco and Eleuthera both can improve the and sea arrivals.
The Bahamas continues to improve its overall market positioning as the regional leader in foreign air and sea arrivals. And one of the key organizational priorities of our ministry is to really significantly increase year-over-year stopover airlift beyond the 2019 historic pre-pandemic levels throughout all the islands of the Bahamas.
This past Saturday, the airline launched a direct service from Orlando, Florida to both North Eleuthera International Airport and the Leonard Thompson International Airport in Abaco. On hand to welcome the landing of the inaugural flight in Abaco were tourism officials and Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco, John Pinder. While the ministry celebrates all islands, Dr. Romer explains that this inaugural service into Abaco is more significant as it demonstrates their commitment as a deep resolve to supporting the island after both Dorian and the pandemic.
Abaco airlift's recovery has now remarkably surpassed 70% of pre-pandemic levels throughout our commitment to increasing our airlift while we simultaneously improve the state of our airport infrastructure. And we expect to see Abaco further positioned on its aggressive pathway to full recovery.
Now, the Orlando Marsh Harbor flight with connecting service to North Eleuthera will be available once a week exclusively on Saturdays. Switching gears, as officials curb the tide of illegal immigrants, a joint effort by the police and the Bahamas Immigration Department resulted in the apprehension of 25 illegal immigrants in separate incidents on Monday. In the first incident, it was shortly before 9 a.m. when 14 illegal Chinese nationals, including 12 males and 2 females, along with a Dominican male, were arrested by officers attached to the Marine Support K-9 mobile patrol units and the Bahamas Immigration Department after they were found in the area of Princess Isles in South Bahama. In the second incident, was shortly before 10 a.m. Officers attached to the Allenstown Police Station conducted marine patrols, searched an abandoned stone structure on Port Royal Canal, South Bimini, where 10 illegal Chinese nationals from the Republic of China were discovered. Additionally, officers attached to the mobile patrol unit arrested a 41-year-old Bahamian male of Sunrise Subdivision and 1 Haitian national, 48, near a business establishment located at the Freeport Harbor. The illegal immigrants and the Bahamian male were handed over to the Bahamas Department of Immigration for further processing. Officials say investigations continue. Well, as illegal immigration continues to be a challenge, according to the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore, there has been a decline in the number of migrant vessels coming to the Bahamas. The Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, also sharing plans to combat this plaguing issue for the northern Bahamas. Aja Quant has more in this report.
Commander of the Defense Force, Commodore Dr. Raymond King, acknowledging the notable decline in the number of migrant vessels arriving in Bahamian waters. King attributed this reduction to the recent lifting of the United States asylum law, which has prompted many immigrants to set their sights on reaching the United States.
The United States would have stood down Title 42. That was a health measure put in by the former administration, President Trump, to deny persons asylum claims on the basis of COVID and the global pandemic. With that, was supposed to have been set aside about a day ago. And so we have now a number of the migrants, the Cubans, the Haitians that we are concerned about. They're now making their way to the Mexican-U.S. border in anticipation that their asylum claims would be heard.
Commodore Dr. King emphasizing the importance of maintaining a strong Defense Force presence and continued collaboration with international partners to address the ongoing challenges related to irregular migration.
You'll always find a vessel or two who will try to surprise you, so we remain strategically postured to safeguard our borders.
The Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, speaking to the immigration issue, particularly in the northern Bahamas.
From the northern region, it's more a matter of persons who may be in the country coming here to be consolidated and then taken to the U.S.
While also announcing plans to establish new Defense Force bases in the northern Bahamas.
The Defense Force is looking at establishing a permanent base here on Grand Bahama, and plans are advanced to locate property on which to situate it. There's plans for a base in Bimini, and plans are advanced to locate a site for that, and there will be a site in Abaco as well. The Defense Force is finalizing the acquisition of 4 different additional safe boats, go-fast patrol boats to bolster the fleet here in the north and in the south.
Meanwhile, the minister did not give a definitive date as to if or when the establishment of the bases will be formed. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azure Quant.
Heading now into news from the court. A 19-year-old Deshaun Lewis and a 14-year-old juvenile, both residents of North Bahamia, were found guilty of kidnapping. Preliminary reports indicate that it was shortly after 5 a.m. on Friday, May 27, 2023. Police received reports that 4 male occupants of a red Nissan Altima abducted a male aged 19 from South Bahamia while he was running on Santa Maria Avenue in South Bahamia. Lewis was sentenced to 2 years at the Bahamas Department of Corrections, while the juvenile was given a conditional discharge for 2 years, and he must be of good behavior. In other news, officials at the Grand Bahama Resilience Center are heightening their efforts to address the prevalence of bullying now discovered at the primary school level, claiming that the issue needs to be taken more seriously as the effects could be detrimental. Here's that report.
An alarming number of children at the primary school level are receiving counseling at the Grand Bahama Resilience Center, largely due to bullying in local schools. In fact, Executive Director at the center, Felicia McBride, says the prevalence of this issue has led to a partnership with the Rotary Club for the launch of an anti-bullying campaign.
Cultural factors and societal factors play a role as well, family dynamics. It may be something that's common to be called names, picky head, get your picky head inside. And so we don't think about the fact that we name call towards children. And so when they're name called in school, it's just another thing. But when I'm name called in school among my peers, now it becomes an even bigger problem.
And these problems can present in the form of isolation, loneliness, decreased academic achievement, and even low self-esteem. McBride says once these younger children are brought in for intakes, it is then that counselors step in to arrive at the root of the problem.
We would draw with them, we would teach them to label their emotions, and in the course of doing that, then they would say, well, when you say, well, what makes you feel sad? And then it will come out, when I'm teased in school. Oh, you're being teased in school? Let's talk about that.
Charging that many children are in survival mode, she suggests that adults adopt a trauma-informed approach to bullying if the intent is to create environments conducive to student success.
And it's important for parents, administrators, teachers to validate a child's feelings school should be somewhere where children feel secure and safe. They need to feel included. It needs to be an environment conducive for learning. And so if a child does not feel safe, they're not going to be able to focus. And so that is why we believe that bullying is an issue that needs to be tackled head on so that we can help to improve the national GPA.
And adding that emotional bullying needs to be taken more seriously and remain at the forefront of public consciousness, she leaves this word of advice for students who may be suffering in silence.
I would send a message to students to be aware of what you're saying, be aware of what you're encouraging. Instead of encouraging the bullying behavior, encourage the person that's being bullied to go and get help, and be aware of what you type. Cyberbullying is a thing.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Reuben Davis.
Downtown is now the home of a new nail supply store that was recently opened for the main purpose of eliminating the shipping process for the nail supplies. Our intern Wes Calix will have that story when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
For new inventory, Dolly Madison Home Center is slashing prices on all Whirlpool and GE refrigerators. Dolly's got the perfect Whirlpool and GE refrigerators, discounted to suit your needs.
Responsibly.
Yeah, let me get 15 dozen donuts and 82 two-piece of chicken. Yeah, I gained free boy.
Migo, you know what I can't stand with you, Migo? Everywhere we go, you just tell people, oh, I gained grandmama. Oh, I gained free boy. I get weight. People want me to come over to the weight. Oh, I gained best of the best. Like, I don't want to go best of the best, Migo. You think I don't like Veronica Bishop, Migo? You think I don't like D-Mark, Migo? You think I don't like Gino D, Migo? I used to wear Gino D's. This school, Migo. You think I don't want to see Gino D perform while I wearing my Gino D's, Migo? Papa Smythe there. Migo, you used to cheating dog. Papa Smythe, even Papa Smythe know I am a Bohemian. You can ask them. You
going though?
Migo, you used to cheat
you
dog.
going, still running on like you ain't going. I didn't tell you we going. I didn't know it. I didn't know it's coming. What is your problem? Oh my goodness, man. I didn't know it's coming.
Yo, hey yo, we come a long way and we just begun. Come on, lift up the heads to the rising sun and just sing it out loud. I am a believer. Come on, sing it out loud. I am a believer.
It's the Road to 50 West Edition. Day 1, Friday, May 26th. It's the welcome party of one family at the YMTA Grounds Hunter. With party vibes by Big Flag, Sweet Mouth, Cheeky Fire, Bailey Chen, and Purple the Entertainer. It's adults only. Admission is free. Gates open at 8 p.m. Day 2, Saturday, May 27th. It's the People's Rush at Sunset Village 8 Mile Rock with One Family Warriors, Swingers, Legends Marching Band with a special guest performance by Stevie S. Party vibes by MLD Production. It's a family event. Admission is free. Bleachers only $10. Starting at 6 p.m. Day 3, Sunday, May 28th. It's the best of the best all-Bahamian concert at the Independence Field West End with music by DJ Butler. Live performances by KB, Chino D, Nishi Ellis, Puzzle, Papa Smurf, Veronica Bishop, Ancient Man, Lil Joe Cartwright, Wilfred Solomon, Sherrod Taylor, Melody, D-Mac, and the GB Police Prop Band. Admission is only $10. Adults only. From 6 p.m. until. Admission $10. Don't miss it. The Road to 50 West Edition. Come on.
Meet David Ferguson.
So Battle of the Marines was complimentary because several things. It was formative in that it allowed me to think critically as to how I study best. This is supposed to be an intellectual experience that you enjoy. Yes, it's a competition, but when you look back at it, you don't want to be so focused on the competitive aspect of this that you miss the intellectual engagement, stimulation, and development that you can gain from this. This should give you a skill or help you learn more about yourself so that you take that with you as you progress in your career and start your university studies.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Downtown is now the home of a new nail supply store that was recently opened for the main purpose of eliminating the shipping process for nail supplies. Our intern Wes Calix reports.
Anissa Stewart, a recent business owner, was all smiles as she cut the ribbon and lifted the covering to announce the launch of her most recent endeavors. Stewart is now the proud owner of Tipsy Studio Nail Supply in Freeport. She claims that the company was founded out of a need. It should be noted that for far too long, nail technicians in Freeport must order materials from Nassau or the United States.
I have my own line because, I just wanted to bring it all to the Bahamas. I wanted it to be everything Bahamian. Like, I wanted to have my own, just like how there's Young Nails and the Bahamian support Young Nails. Why not bring something to the Bahamas where they can support their own? Yes, I will definitely be adding some more stuff. Right now, I'm in the process of getting my own, actually upgrading my polish line. I'm trying to get a one-step polish line where you don't have to use a base and a top. I know that's a little bit, but nail techs would understand where you don't have to use a base and a top and it'll be one coat.
One of Stewart's supporters shares on the beauty industry size. Qtel DeVoe, a licensed nail tech with over 24 years of experience, shares that many stand to benefit from it.
And so definitely when it comes to Grand Bahama, this is a great benefit simply because we usually would have to source our products from outside, mainly from Nassau, or we would bring in from the U.S. So it's definitely a huge benefit to the island, especially to downtown, because most of our salons are downtown. So it's very convenient as far as the location is concerned for people to just run in, get what they want. And so I know that as far as the community of Grand Bahama and my fellow colleagues, it is a need. They could not wait.
DeVoe also encouraged those in the beauty industry.
I think that once you have a dream and once you have a desire, continue to push. I think that comparison is the killer of all joy and progress. And so definitely it's about being patient with your growth, not trying to bypass or override that time of processing. Give yourself grace, but definitely stay in the industry. The industry is so rewarding, not just financially, but in the beauty industry, we call ourselves shrinks, psychiatrists. There's so much, mentoring and counsel that we give. So definitely it'll be for them to continue to push, continue to strive for greatness, continue to love, learn, and just look for bettering yourself.
For the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition, I'm intern Wes Calix.
Well, it was a special celebration as the Bahamas National Trust hosted a special tree planting ceremony at the Rand Nature Center in celebration of the 50th independence under the patronage of the Office of the Spouse of the Prime Minister, Mrs. Anne Marie Davis, who paid a special visit. The BNT is happy about the way forward. Shane Stubbs tells us more.
With a love for nature, it was only fitting that the wife of the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Mrs. Anne Marie Davis, pay a special visit to Grand Bahama in celebration of International Biodiversity Day, as the Bahamas National Trust hosted their 50th Independence Tree Planting Ceremony.
Biodiversity is life on Earth, and it is the natural world around us, and so we must protect it.
With the planting of the national tree, the Lignum vitae, and a breadfruit tree at the Rand Nature Center, Mrs. Davis spoke about both plants' health and environmental benefits.
It is used for the treatment of arthritis, coughing, syphilis, gout, chronic rheumatism, and blood purifying compounds. The breadfruit trees help to combat climate change by storing carbon for up to 100 years. They sequester carbon dioxide by storing carbon in their roots, in their bark, their trunks, their branches, and the fruit.
Having planted breadfruit trees around the country, Mrs. Davis also believes strongly in the plant's versatility as a food source for the future and its durability through the strongest of storms.
Hurricane-force winds, salt water, whatever you throw at it, the breadfruit tree can survive. It's very resilient. And so we have to plant as many as we can. It has been said that the breadfruit tree can sustain a family of 4 for a decade, 10 years. Some people say forever.
And as the BNT continues their 50 for 50 campaign, Director of Parks Ellsworth Ware and Council Member Karen Sanchez look to continue their roles in protecting biodiversity.
And we're happy to be able to partner with you, First Lady. You recognize the importance of trees. And, you know, trees, they take many years to grow. And as a result, they are a symbol of longevity and a symbol of, you know, maturity.
The Bahamas has been a signatory to the Convention on Biodiversity since December 29, 1993. The convention recognizes national parks and protected areas as one of the best ways to protect biodiversity. We celebrate today our unique flora and fauna that are protected in 32 national parks across the country.
The day also included Mrs. Davis planting breadfruit trees at the Urban Renewal Centers in Seahorse, Pine Ridge, and Central Grand Bahama. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
The relaunch ceremony of Local Government Junior Council taking place recently, District Superintendent of Education for Grand Bahama, Anne Bimini, is now boasting of plans of a holistic approach that will include both private and government schools. Wes Calix explains.
Superintendent Butler, with excitement, reflected on the past activities and success in all of the schools affiliated with Local Government Junior Council, especially at the 8 Mile Rock High School.
This program is very vital to what we want to do. In our schools, we want to expose our students to a holistic education where they have the opportunity to succeed in all their endeavors. Out of our schools, we look forward to the next politicians, we look forward to the next athletes, we look forward to the next leaders of our country.
Acting Permanent Secretary Neil Campbell shares that they intend to partner with Ministry of Education, Parliamentary Registration Department, and the Post Office for the program to run smoothly.
Intent is to have persons registered in order to vote, in order to have their voting first time at understanding the necessity in voting to choose your leaders, and then also what happens in order for you to be eligible to vote, and what happens during the process. So we're going to be inking those students. They're going to have some voter cards. The students will understand how to do bank accounts, how to do vouchers, how to engage in contracts, and all the rest of those things. Same things we do on a national level. You have to put things out to tender. You have to sit down and decide who will do the work. You have to go and look at the work once it's done. All will be done by the junior local government councils.
For the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition, I'm intern Wes Calix.
And it's now time for your check on sports with Jay Philippe.
I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to another exciting edition of sports right here in the North. Of course, we have all the sports updates for you. Baseball, track and field, also soccer. Let's jump right in. Legacy Baseball League is gearing up for the upcoming Nationals slated for next month in the nation's capital. The Coach Pitch Division has two teams which are currently battling for playoffs, but once Nationals rolls around, the top players will represent Legacy Baseball.
The kids now actually catching the ball. We got some bases run on, but we're still fighting, and hopefully by the time we get ready of next week, we see what they really can do. We have another game on Monday, so we're setting up really to get focused for Nationals. We plan on taking them over to Nationals, and they're getting there. They're starting to really focus into the game.
The only problem we're having right now is getting most of the kids out, but other than that, the set of kids were coming out now. They're coming along very good.
The 12U and 14U teams has combined this year round, but Coach Munnings and Coach Marshall still believes the teams can compete with the best at Nationals.
We've been having an awesome season, getting the kids ready and prepared for the Nationals coming up in Nassau. So right now I'm dealing with the 12U guys, so all of the kids so we making good preparation, to coaching the kids, getting them the pitching styles and stuff like that. Also getting them in the field and, batting properly.
The playoff going very well right now because we're getting our team right back together for nationals. And we're just waiting for anybody to come so we can play them, get some more games in, and we're looking on whoever we play.
Switching gears now in soccer, Patrick J. Bethel School out of Abaco recently competed in the Northern Bahamas Soccer Nationals at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. Abaco lost to BMES in the Girls' Championship game, but Coach Walker was okay with her team's performance.
The strategy for us was just basically to have fun. I didn't want them to feel pressured because this is our very first game. So I just wanted them to enjoy themselves. And I think they kind of put the pressure on themselves at the beginning, but after a while it kind of eased up. So I saw a great improvement from the first half into the second half, and I'm happy with that, most definitely.
And finally in sports, Grand Bahamian Zion Campbell, competing at Iowa Central Community College, clocked a new personal best of 10.28 seconds at the National Junior College Division I Track and Field Championships. That time placed him 12th overall in the event at Nationals and placed him number 1 overall as the top junior athlete in the Bahamas with that run. Ladies and gents, that's your quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
You asked for it, you've got it. A new plant nursery fully loaded with everything you need and extended hours. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Hey, y'all coming? I going down to Freeport and I need y'all to come with me. We're going to the Road to 50 celebrations from May 26 to 28, 3 days of non-stop fun. West Grand Bahama edition. I hope y'all ready. This is how it goes. So we get the pre-party, then the pre-party, then the party. So on the first night, May 26th, we're going down to the YMTA for the welcome party with one family. And this could be a party. Trust me, I tell you that. Limbs, Russelltown, Marktown, Lewis Yard, Dinders Point. I want to see you all there. Night 2, the event I dressed for already is the People's Rush. Listen, Jonestown Fish Fry. I hope you all ready because we rushing to the rocks. Hey. Be ready, boy? Guess who could be rushing out there? One family! Why? All right, that's night 2. Hebburn Town, Bartlett Hill, Hannah Hill, we ain't forget you. Pinedale, Seagrape, Holmes Rock. We could be rocking that night, trust me. And then day 3 is best of the best concert. We're going down the West End because we all know that's the best end. We got a whole conglomerate of Bahamian artists, and I never used that word in my life, so y'all know this could be so good. And we could be down on Commissioner's Field, so go put on your dancing shoe and come through. That's May 26 to 28, Freeport. Let's show them how y'all is carry on. Road to 50 celebrations. I can meet you on there. Well, wait, come in.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
John West Shoes is now open. Carmichael West, Nassau, behind Wendy's.
Your number 1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Edie Campbell, you are our Facebook friend of the day. The team here is also wishing you a special happy birthday, and we say thank you for your support. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys so much for watching. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, running on empty, the plight of bus drivers. Reward for missing man, an umbrella union strengthens, and in sports, soccer national kick-up. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kush Lopinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Bus drivers caught between the proverbial rock and hard place following petroleum retailers' hardball decision to hold off on selling diesel. The group tonight calling for an immediate resolution to the continued standoff between gas retailers and the government. Carla Palmer leads us off tonight.
It's crucial. Think about blood going through your heart. These vehicles run with diesel.
Bus driver Kelson Miller says the lifeblood fueling his business and that of his industry colleagues is under attack.
We a whole lot of diesel, some of them $100 a day. Without diesel, there's no movement. This can literally cripple the industry of transportation and heavy equipment because it's definitely a necessity. I've questioned a few station owners and operators, some attendants, and they say they have no idea how long it will take. Matter of fact, I think they're waiting on the government to make a move.
His words were few. Still, bus driver Darren Simonet is simply disgusted by the whole situation.
That's beyond our control. Okay, the government needs to do what they have to do, and the franchise owners or the gas station need to know. We as the local population, we suffering just like anybody else. Why you want to go up on the diesel?
With his gas tank low, bus driver Dawkins says he was prepared to go home and park his bus for fear of running out of fuel roadside. That was until he was directed where to go.
I didn't realize what was going on up until yesterday. I drive almost all over looking for diesel yesterday. I had to drive Life Key yesterday to find diesel. And when I reached there yesterday, every truck, every diesel truck, anything would need diesel was on that side of town because you couldn't find it no place else.
While bus drivers may have been blindsided by the goings-on, sources say at least one tour company got heads up of the action by gas retailers and welcomed a gas tanker on property to fill up its tour buses, indicating minimal impact to the company's operations, at least in the short term.
If you ain't no diesel, you can't hustle no job or nothing, and you can park your vehicle.
Like Ferguson, another trucker, Michael Stubbs, is predicting this reality.
Now people really gonna appreciate the trucks and the prices can go up now. We can demand what we need now because what these guys trucking for now, it don't make sense. No containers can come off the dock. That means no trucks can move, no groceries can get delivered. So I mean, if the trucks stop, the country stop. So I mean, it's going to impact the country drastically.
It's uncertain how long this action will persist, but those impacted want it to end now. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Now, while petroleum dealers say no to selling diesel right now, SunOil is saying yes. The licensee for Shell Gas in the Bahamas confirming to our news team that the company is selling diesel at several of its stations here in New Providence. Diesel can be purchased at Shell Old Fort Bay, the airport, Oaksfield, University Boulevard, Blue Hill and Robinson Roads, as well as Carmichael and Blue Hill Roads, and its station in Montague. In other news, ahead of the Nassau Cruise Port's spectacular opening this Friday, dozens of vendors are moving into their brand new multi-million-dollar waterfront home. And as our Vaughn Albury tells us, many couldn't be happier.
It's May 23rd. It's moving day here at the Nassau Cruise Port. Today is the day when vendors are allowed to move into their new booths, their newly expanded booths, much different from what it was across the street. And you see this port represents a paradigm shift for the city of Nassau. This port, the Nassau Cruise Port, which costs some $300 million, is expected to welcome more than 4 million visitors this year. We spoke with Mike Moore Jr., CEO and director of the Nassau Cruise Port, and Ed Fields, consultant.
Today's a great day. The vendors have shown up. They're in the process of relocating from Rawson Square into these spaces here. It's exciting to see the creative nature of how each one's customizing their space. And it's, it's straw. It's, jams and jellies. It's a lot of jewelry. It's a lot of different products that are authentic to the Bahamas.
Folks who were at Festival Place have been languishing for probably, 13 years or so, okay, in different settings. We're finally at the day where they're moving in. They have essentially moved in several hours. Out of 33 people who are scheduled to move in, I think we're at about 28 or 29 who've already moved in or in the process of moving in. I'm sure the rest of them will move in by the rest of the evening. Very happy with what we think is going to be a new kind of environment. We're really excited about what the visitor is going to see, because now, and I say this very candidly, I mean, the stage of life where it doesn't work for me to do anything else, is that they're not going to be in a chaotic environment. Okay, they're going to come into an environment that's calm. You can see the space, everyone's space. They're not up on top of each other. They're clean. They'll be able to, leisurely browse around. There won't be, I can tell you, we're going to be very, very firm with solicitation and drug peddling and all of the, negative behaviors that you see elsewhere. That's not going to happen here.
The vendors we spoke to are very happy about the move.
It's been a long time coming, and so I'm optimistic, very optimistic. Excited.
From what I see, my eye tells me that these products will sell. Your opinion?
Oh, definitely. It will always sell. I do top quality work, and people recognize that. So I have no qualms about it moving.
We're coming along pretty good, and looking forward to getting open.
Do you think visitors would like your product offerings?
Absolutely, man. I think we put out a good product. Just saying. I don't try to brag, but yeah, seriously though, we get some good reviews online. The visitors love it. We see about 3,500 tourists at our retail store down on Delancey Street, and yeah, it's been going pretty good so far.
Vendors will continue to set up their booths for Friday's opening. That represents a new beginning here at Nassau, beginning at the Nassau Cruise Port. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Vaughn Albury.
Well, thanks, Vaughn. Now, not all Festival Place vendors are keen about moving to the new Nassau Cruise Port. Some complain the setting up time is short, while others claim plans included air conditioning. Now it's fans. Another vendor added that the grant is not really a grant. Consultant in the Ministry of Tourism, Senator the Honorable Randy Rowe, responded.
There are some vendors who had some disagreement in terms of the lease agreements as it relates to the port. Certainly, the president of the association, Ms. Prince, she has expressed some of her concerns via a letter to several persons. Certainly, that letter has been passed on to the relevant authorities, and the government's going to look into it and assess what needs to happen as it relates to that.
Director of the Bahamas Crisis Center, Sandra Dean Patterson, suggests Senior Pastor Emeritus of Grace Gospel Church, Evangelist Rex Major, is not seeing the complete picture when it comes to marital rape. Her comments on the heels of Major's suggestion this past Sunday that women may abuse marital rape legislation as a way to divorce a husband they no longer want. Dean Patterson says she has great respect for Major as a pastor and that his wife was also a strong volunteer for the Crisis Center. She added, though, that while families are a critical component to the health of the country, it can be more complex.
I think he doesn't see the dark side of families, the terror and the pain that too many women live in toxic relationships. Over the years, what we've seen with the violence that women have experienced as a result of violent husbands. That is a reality. And it's something that we can't keep closing our eyes to and denying. It is something women end up in the doctor's office having to have stitches as a result of the violence, having gotten STIs, even HIV, as a result of husbands forcing them. They know they've come from a sweetheart and forcing them to have sex with them. These are real issues.
Dean Patterson insists too many women live in fear of sexual violence, so the reasoning that someone may lie is not a big enough one for inaction.
But the point he makes, he's right when he says that people lie. People do lie. You know, I mean, people lie in cases of murder, in cases of robbery, in cases of assault. That's why we have legislation that deals with persons who lie, perjury, or who would maliciously or falsely mislead the police. There are consequences for things like that. So I know that's a big fear that people have with regard to passing any legislation that criminalizes this kind of behavior. But it's not a fear that needs to for people that people need to have, because our system addresses it. I think our concentration has to be on how, as a country, we are in fact not dealing with the issue of sexual violence.
Well, we now turn our attention to news from the police. An early morning collision ends in tragedy for a 34-year-old New Providence man. The victim, a scooter driver, was traveling west along Coxway off East Street around 1:30 this morning when he reportedly lost control and collided with a utility pole. Suffering serious head injuries, he died. The matter's under active investigation. The same to be said in the case of two separate shootings Monday that's left police searching for the culprits. The first incident taking place at a home on Watland Street around 4:30. Police say two masked gunmen opened fire on the victim, wounding him multiple times. The second victim was reportedly walking in the same area when he was shot in the left arm and leg. At last report, both victims were in stable condition in hospital. Meantime, an alleged murderer and would-be armed robbers taken into custody thanks to the quick thinking of Cable Beach officers. Police say they were patrolling Sea Beach Avenue around 10:45 last night when they heard a female resident of West Bay Street yelling that she was being robbed. Officers quickly pursued the 25-year-old suspect, who ran towards a blue motorcycle where his accomplice was waiting. We understand that during the pursuit, the assailant pointed his weapon at the officers who engaged him. The gunman surrendered by placing his loaded weapon on the ground. Police have since revealed that the suspect is wanted in connection with a 2021 homicide in southern New Providence. His accomplice eluded police. However, the motorcycle was recovered in bushes just west of the incident. Police are following significant leads in apprehending the second suspect. Well, family members of the young man whose mind-boggling disappearance stretches into yet another day, upping the stakes in hopes of his safe return. Desmond Saunders explains in this next story.
It's been rough, man. Not much sleep during the nighttime. You know, the only thing I have to hold on now is prayers right now, you know.
Strong faith and a glimmer of hope is what's guiding Keith Carey as the search continues for his 20-year-old son who's been missing for more than a week.
Carl don't really sleep out. He was last seen on Thursday night when he came home. Friday, I didn't see Carl at all on Friday. He didn't sleep home on Friday night, so I knew something was wrong.
An all-points bulletin mounted by police over the weekend. Atlanta's staff, family, friends, and the Coral Harbor community conducting a search. More questions than answers, and now his family hopes his nightmare could soon come to an end.
Somewhere around the pandemic, his personality changed a little bit, his behavior changed a little bit, and he was a little unstable as far as that. I know a lot of people ask me about his mental state, you know. He was unstable, but not to the point where I would say, well, he has a mental issue.
Carey hopes to be reunited with his son soon.
You know, he's very approachable, never bother no one. He's kind of an introvert. You know, he don't like to be around the crowds and stuff like that. You know, he have his little routine that he takes on a daily basis, walking out to the Coral Harbor Community Park. He had a little gig out to the convenience store. Little stockman used to stock stuff on the shelves and stuff like that. So he used to go there on a daily basis. That was his daily routine. And when they realized the gentleman out there said he didn't see him for 2 days.
Now, family and police continuing their search for young Carl. He is of brown complexion, 6 feet 6 inches tall, slim build, and he was last seen May 12, 2023 in the neighborhood convenience store here in the Cole Harbour community. The family offering a $5,000 reward for his capture. And if you have any information that can assist the family, you are invited to call Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS, 328-8477. Here in the Cole Vista, Cole Harbour community, Desmond Saunders, The Bahamas Tonight.
Well, also missing tonight, 15-year-old Candino Stirrup of 538 Dumping Ground Corner. The teen was seen on Thursday around 6:30 p.m. on Bola Alley. He's described as 5 feet 4 inches tall, medium build, and dark-skinned. Anyone with information, again, on Candino Stirrup's whereabouts should call police at 502-9991 or 2, or simply 911. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Just when Leo was about to buy this useless pair of Hands underwear, he remembered that it was Tuesday. Hungry for deals? You better come satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Crazy Tuesdays! 5 juicy, mouth-watering pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Crazy Tuesdays! A finger-licking good deal.
Of the Bahamas. Fly away.
Spring is here and Easter is right around the corner. Thinking about moving forward with your personal goals that require money? Fidelity Bank can get you approved in no time without the red tape and the runaround. Fidelity offers competitive interest rates and minimal fees. The loan that you need and can afford is just a phone call away.
This segment of the news is brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/GearUp for an RBC auto loan.
The Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation may have given the government's income tax green paper its stamp of approval, but it still has some concerns. The business community is cautious that the proper implementation of corporate income tax must go hand in hand with reforming the business license process and other forms of taxation. Chamber officials firmly believe the success of this process will rise or fall on the strength of feedback from stakeholders and the government's ability to use this information as instructive insight for a smooth implementation. The Chamber urges policymakers to ensure the ease of doing business also dominates corporate income tax discussions. Well, you might not have noticed it, but traffic here in the capital is undergoing transformation. Minister of Public Works and Utilities, the Honorable Alfred Sayers, today officially introduced Nassau's new traffic management center. Phase 1 of the three-phase project is 80% complete, with 69 of the island's 80 traffic lights upgraded. The $1.8 million improvement means better traffic flow through communications between the TMC and traffic lights wirelessly.
I'm pleased to report that we have achieved a remarkable progress, having successfully upgraded approximately 80% of the signals, the traffic signals, in the network with above-ground detection cameras throughout the island of New Providence. These cameras are equipped with state-of-the-art technology that will enable us to capture in real time congestion, blockage, or any interference with the smooth flow of traffic.
Now, Minister Sayers noting why the decision was made to implement a traffic management center.
We recognized that we needed to address congestion, road safety, and cost of maintaining outdated systems which were draining the scarce resources of the country. By embracing modern technologies and investing in infrastructure upgrades, we are taking a proactive approach. Through the integration of modern technologies, we aim to bolster reliability, effectiveness, and sustainability of our transportation.
In other news this evening, Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, today apprising the World Health Assembly of the strides the Bahamas is making in the delivery of health care while addressing the opening of the 76th plenary session in Geneva, Switzerland. Darville sharing that the Bahamas, being an archipelago, can pose challenges to the delivery of health equity. Still, he cited major upgrades to more than 50 clinics that are underway and the planned construction of 2 new hospitals as projects the government's undertaking.
We are also making legislative changes to improve the delivery of healthcare services to our complex ecosystem. We also will repeal and replace the current National Health Insurance Act to facilitate improvements in the delivery of sustainable, universal primary health care services and more of the second phase of universal health coverage, which is catastrophic health care. Under the guidance of WHO, we also brought into force a new mental health legislation that is finally modernizing pediatric and adult mental health care services across the country. Mr. President, since the 75th Assembly, the Bahamas has made significant progress in addressing the devastation left behind by Hurricane Dorian and the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, but much more work needs to be done.
An umbrella union grows. The Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union can now count the Bahamas Healthcare and Allied Workers Union and the Junkanoo Beach Association as its members. CBTUC President Obi Ferguson says the new union has a potential membership of some 600 healthcare professionals. He believes the union and the association will help further strengthen the Congress in its efforts to deliver service to Bahamian workers.
I think they made the right decision, quite frankly, because we represent the largest segmented group of workers in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have a memorandum of understanding from 1977, the 14th of March. And when you get a copy of that document, that was signed with the Progressive Liberal Party, you will see that every issue affecting workers is embodied in that document. Every issue. Agency shop came as a result of the Federation of Labor and the Commonwealth of Bahamas Trade Union Congress.
Ferguson also speaking to the Employment Act, which he believes should be revised to make it more worker-friendly. His comments coming as preparations are underway for the upcoming Labor Day activities.
people who've worked for 35 years employment with a particular company. You can't explain to me or any rational Bahamian that they should only be paid for 26 weeks pay. That just don't make no sense. And that is something we have to change, and I mean change fundamentally. You have people working in the hospital and elsewhere. Some of these people work 35, almost 40 years of employment. So if you're making them redundant, how are you going to give them 26 weeks pay as though they only work for 12 years? That don't make no sense. But we're going to fight and get that done. That's a must. We must get that fixed. Redundancy pay, again, we have to correct that because on redundancy, they only pay you what they call basic pay. Well, it could be basic pay. Some people get gratuity. Some people get bonus. So how are you going to leave those things out?
And speaking of Labor Day, those activities will begin with a church service at the Church of God of Prophecy on May 28th, followed by the National Workers Awards banquet on May 31st and the 62nd Annual Sir Randall Fox Labor Day Parade on June 2nd. Here's Chairman of the Labor Day Committee, Arlington Bethel.
Policies of the parade will be as follows. There will be no alcohol consumption tolerated by any person driving a vehicle on the parade. Marshals will be designated by all affiliates to ensure that the parade progresses safely. No littering will be tolerated on the route. We're inviting all workers of the Commonwealth of Bahamas to come out and join us on this special day of our country. The march will start once again at Windsor Park at 8 a.m. and ends at Arwa Key. With the Family Fun Day of events, we ask the marchers on the parade to bring their flags on this momentous occasion.
The National Report returns in a moment. Stay with us.
This segment of the news brought to you by the 50th On Bay Street Festival, Monday, May 29th, a presentation of the 50th Independent Secretariat.
National Independence Secretariat recently hosted a 50th Independence Jubilee Day production that brought together the best of Bahamian arts and culture, held at the historic Southern Recreation Grounds, where generations of Bahamians gathered to fight for fair labor conditions, majority rule, and independence. The night's event featured a range of talented artisans, showcasing our story through dramatic prose, music, and dance. And the festivities didn't stop there. With a diverse array of Bahamian vendors on hand, providing delicious food and refreshing drinks, the crowd was energized and ready to celebrate our beloved nation's journey to independence. But this is just the beginning. There are even more exciting events and celebrations to come as we continue on our road to 50 years of independence. So join the beat and visit celebrate-bahamas.com to stay up to date on all the latest news and events.
You can find it all at Builders Mall. From cement, lumber, block, plumbing, and electrical to paint, lights, vanities, and tiles. Not to mention all the tools you could possibly need to get the job done. Say if you're starting a major project, adding the finishing touches, or just doing some repair or rental work around the house. FYP, the Paint Center, and Tile King can help. Stop by or call 601-8453. Located 69 Wolf Road, Nassau. You can find it all at Builders Mall. Building, painting, and tiling, the Bahamas.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a Sand Dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving Sand Dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers.
It does not matter
which of us you choose.
You can pay for goods and services
wherever Sand Dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
Join up
guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family, join the family, family guardian. Protect the ones you love, a friend that you can trust. Family guardian. Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs recently inked an implementation agreement for agricultural cooperation with the People's Republic of China. As part of the agreement, 2 Chinese experts will reside in the Bahamas and assist Bahamians in building 3 industrial-sized greenhouses at the Gladstone Road Agricultural Center. Interested backyard and commercial farmers will also receive training in greenhouse farming. Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs Clay Sweeting outlines the benefits of the agreement.
This presents a wonderful opportunity for farmers. These experts will assist farmers interested in greenhouse farming. And additionally, we will hire Bahamians to assist with the construction of the greenhouses, who will also be trained in greenhouse construction and operations. It is imperative that any partnership that we enter into, that Bahamians are the main focus and are able to capitalize on the opportunities afforded to them.
Chinese ambassador to the Bahamas, Dai King Lee, says the signing marks a new starting point for Bahamas-China agricultural cooperation.
Such technical cooperation is in line with the policy goals of the Bahamas government to develop climate-resilient agriculture and achieve greater food security. This cooperation is conducive to your ongoing measures to stimulate agricultural development and provide modern agricultural technology training and capacity building support for your farmers. We do hope that with continued support from Minister Sweeting, P.S. Cates, and colleagues from the Ministry of Agriculture, the vegetable greenhouse project will move forward smoothly and set up a new channel for sharing experience and diffusing technical support throughout the Bahamas.
The experts are expected to arrive in the Bahamas by the end of the month and will hold a number of training events. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Candia Smith.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Around since 2019, the Bahamas College of Bishops, an interdenomination of bishops, is offering up its assistance to resolve some of the country's crucial issues. The group's second vice chairman, Wesley Thompson, says the overall objective is to make a difference in a tangible way to improve the lives of the less fortunate. Case in point, this upcoming event.
And what has been done so far, we have identified an area in the Fox Hill community. The objective is to touch families with food and clothing in an aggressive, massive way. And by doing that, we believe that it will cause a ripple effect, that it will touch the hearts of some of the young men who may be involved in illegal activities, to come to the services organized, and that will be done by giving out food coupons, and to just not hear the gospel, but to experience the love of Christ and the love of the church.
Well, 3 students, each representing junior, senior, and the tertiary level, were lauded for their performances as they took home top prizes, including a trophy and cash in INTI's Environmental Essay Competition. One of the 3 named the first ever INTI's Environmental Youth Ambassador. With Inti Corporation Limited, the largest Bahamian-owned solar installation company, locally, the participants were required to focus on the topic of climate change and alternative energy renewables. The winners were announced at the Bahamas National Trust on Village Road. Winning the junior division and $500 was Sarah Roker of Sister Mary Patricia Ross Junior High School in Freeport, Grand Bahama. Michaela Kerr of Kingsway Academy won the secondary division and $750, and Sierra Ramming of the University of the Bahamas walked away with $1,000. Michaela Kerr also named the first Environmental Youth Ambassador. Chief Executive Officer and President of Inti Corporation, Owen Bethel.
Recipient of the Environmental Youth Ambassador Award will be given the opportunity to attend and participate in several established environmental conferences to be held over the next year, both here in the Bahamas and abroad. She will be the voice and/or face of the company in several proposed public service announcements, and she will host an environmental forum for local youth.
The University of the Bahamas also won the Environmental Leadership Award based on the number of students participating in the essay competition. Both Minister of State for Education, the Honorable Zane Lightbourne, and Minister of Environment and Natural Resources, the Honorable Vaughn Miller, spoke to the issue of climate change as they applauded the students.
I think it's important that we always combine education with global citizenry. And I think because of our makeup as a small island developing state and using our positioning to be a voice for clean energy, that we not only speak about it or express it, we have it infused in our DNA, in our education system.
It's an existential threat. Is real. The possibility of us being climate refugees is real. And so the more we inform and educate, then we're able to equip, we're able to empower.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. So just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
This is the super versatile Ring Stick-Up Cam. It goes indoors, outdoors, outdoors in the rain. It's got two-way talk. Hey, Eddie. Works with Alexa. Comes in tons of power options and works with Ring Alarm to start recording automatically if something's going on.
Seriously?
Seriously. So start protecting your home with the easy installing indoor-outdoor Stick-Up Cam by Ring.
The most important thing in life is family, and whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Two men faced a magistrate today. Behind the court appearance, a laundry list of drug charges. 44-year-old Basil Johnson of New Providence and 36-year-old Seth Cartwright of Hatchet Bay, Luthra, were arraigned in a magistrate's court number 8 on possession of dangerous drugs with the intent to supply and conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs with the intent to supply. Johnson pleaded guilty while Cartwright entered a not guilty plea. The charges stemming from a $1 million drug bust 40 miles southwest of Crooked Island last Thursday. Outbat officers spotted a go-fast boat with 2 men on board. Upon seeing the officers, the men started to throw packages suspected to be dangerous drugs into the water. As the officers approached the vessel, the men reportedly sped off but were apprehended after a short chase. Johnson also pleaded guilty to similar charges stemming from a 2021 incident involving the seizure of 872 pounds of marijuana off Exuma. In more upbeat news, the pulsating sounds of Junkanoo welcoming passengers aboard Silver Airways' inaugural flight from Orlando, Florida to Marsh Harbor, Abaco. The Orlando-Marsh Harbor weekly flight with connecting service to North Eleuthera complements Silver Airways' existing flights from Fort Lauderdale and Tampa to the Abacos. Tourism's Parliamentary Secretary John Pinder and Deputy Director General Dr. Kenneth Romer among the officials greeting the Florida visitors to the island. Tourism officials boasting Abaco's airlift recovery has now remarkably surpassed 70% of pre-pandemic levels. And through their commitment to increasing airlift while simultaneously improving the state of airport infrastructure, they expect to further position Abaco on its aggressive pathway to full recovery. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather, and for that, we turn to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, McKitchell. We have near clear skies tonight with a temperature of 83 degrees, relative humidity 68%. We have north-northeast winds at 10 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,011.9 millibars. That's 29.87 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 83 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Green Tool Key in Abaco, Marsh Harbor, Abaco at 81 degrees. The Berry Islands, 83. Alistown, Bimini, 82. 82 also in Harbor Island, Eleuthera, Rock Sound, Eleuthera, Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space, South Andros, and Fresh Creek, Central Andros, the Mercury Column at 83 degrees, 81s in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, Georgetown, Exuma, 82 degrees, 82s in Ragged Island, Clarence, Long Island, and Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Meguana, 83, Acklands, 83, Matchetown, Nagua, 84, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 82 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. For all areas tonight through Wednesday, light and variable winds with flat sea conditions. A high tide will occur at 11:35 tonight with another high tide at 11:48 tomorrow morning. And then as we take you into Thursday, for all areas, the winds become south to southwest just ahead of a frontal system that's approaching the northwest Bahamas. The speeds are going to be around 10 to 15 knots and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide on Thursday, 6:58 in the morning. High tide taking place at 12:48 in the afternoon. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. Going to do it for you. International temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. The extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Mario thought he could have his cake and eat it too. He almost found out the hard way that if you don't insure your home for the full replacement value, when it comes time to make a claim, you won't get the full payout. It's called the condition of average. If your $200,000 home is destroyed by a hurricane, but you only insured it for $100,000, half the value, you'll only get half of that $100,000 payout. Actually, less than that, because there's also a deductible, which will be deducted from your payout. Check your home insurance policy for the condition of average clause and ask your insurance agent or broker how condition of average would affect you. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
From the experts that created the Kentucky Chicken Sandwich comes the crispy barbecue sandwich. Bacon, cheddar cheese, crispy onions, and the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor. KFC. It's finger-licking good.
Worried about losing your furniture to costly termite damage? You need Rentokil Initials Drop and Go Furniture Fumigation, the only service like it in the Bahamas. Simply drop your furniture at a fumigation container located at 5th Terrace, Centerville, and collect your termite-free piece within days. Sealed with our termite-free guarantee. Fast, convenient, affordable. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your ZNS Total Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles. Day 2 of the Sam Haven High School Soccer Nationals currently ongoing at the Roscoe Davies Soccer Field. While things are no doubt heating up, let's take a look at scores from Monday. The Samuel Haven Bahamas Football Association and Ministry of Education High School Soccer Nationals kicking off Monday at the Roscoe Davies Soccer Field. Thrilling first match as the boys took the field with GHS winning on penalty shots over St. Anne's 4-3. Lyford Key would then outlast the Knights of C.R. Walker 2-1. In the finale, it would be Anatole Rogers taking down St. Andrews 2-1. As for games today, we'll have LIS taking on Anatole Rogers, C.R. Walker taking on SAC, and Queens College taking on R.M. Bailey. We'll have those scores for you in tomorrow's Sportscast. Still on soccer, for the first time in history, the Bahamas Football Association has a woman as its president. Winning 5-4 in the presidential vote was Anya James, who secured the victory at the BFA's annual general meeting held earlier this month. James, who served as vice president with the previous administration, got the victory over Sam Thabod, who was also running for the top spot. She replaced outgoing President Anton Seeley, who did not run. Seeley was at the helm since 1996, and now James will serve for the next 4 years.
One of our platforms is youth development and encouraging more players to get into the sport of football. We've been on a hiatus because of COVID, and so we're excited to have the players back on the pitch. Some of whom are not connected to clubs as yet, so this is usually a springboard for us to introduce players to the game and to encourage more players to join any club. But it's an exciting time. And I'm glad to see that there are a lot of parents and fans to come and support the players.
As for what's on our immediate agenda,
youth development, we want to expand into the Family Islands. We have a group of players in Eleuthera. We have a strong presence in Grand Bahama. We would like to expand into Abaco and Exumas. So Family Island development is key to us as well. We want to increase our playing fields, so getting into green spaces and increasing our infrastructure. That's some of our plans. I won't release all now, but but in due time.
And still on Bahamian women trailblazing in sports, a Bahamian student athlete has been chosen to attend a prestigious NCAA conference. The young lady in question, Lyric Brennan, a sprinter at Minnesota State, was elected to be one of 200 student athletes to participate in the NCAA's Career in Sports Forum. Lyric and two of her teammates were chosen from a pool of over 1,000 athletes.
And yeah, I just kind of submitted it and hope for the best because out of the whole entire nation, the applicants who apply, they come across like a couple thousand each year when they do this, and they only pick 200. So to be among the 200 that were picked, and like with the school that's got 3 people chosen as well, like no school ever has that many people in a year that's chosen. So I think it's a pretty good opportunity regardless. And I'm also the only girl going with 2 other guys from my team. So I'm pretty excited.
And she's certainly eager to make some new connections with some like-minded people.
I was never really the person to put myself out there and network myself, but just from internships in the past with football teams here, I definitely was able to break out my shell a lot. So just networking with people and telling people what I have planned for myself and as a leader as well, and what I want to do career-wise, I think this is a really good stepping stone for me because I recently just finished my degree, so I'm looking to start my doctorate in sports psychology and other places. So if I can get people who are aware of me and aware of what I do here, I think it'll be a really good way to bridge the gap between myself and other people to open doors for new opportunities to study abroad and work in different sporting environments.
And for Brennan, who hopes one day to work closely with NFL teams, she understands the importance of representation, not only as an aspiring female sports psychologist, but as a Bahamian as well.
I've never really been the type of person to fall in line and see things in black and white and color between the lines and check boxes. I loved in high school, I loved being the kid who was outspoken. I loved being the kid who was going to pick my teacher's brain about something. So I think this all just kind of influenced that. And I go to PWI, so predominantly white school. So it's already kind of like enshrined and ingrained in my brain that, hey, I'm already going to stand out. So if I'm going to stand out, be productive in that process. So yeah, I think it's just a way to represent where I come from and, make people proud who made sacrifices for me. It obviously wasn't easy getting here and doing all this as well as being a student athlete. I can definitely attest to that. Like, it was never meant to be easy. I don't want my work to be easy either. And I love working hard. So I think my work speaks for itself as well. So I think this is all part of the process and just me wanting to, be different, I think.
News from basketball overseas. While he may be done competing at the national team level, Jerron Keno Barrow still proving he's a force to be reckoned with on the court. Barrow's posting 30 points and 12 rebounds, along with 3 steals and 3 assists for ABLS Basket in their 86-69 win over Fjord CTC in the closeout game of the NM1 League playoffs in France. The victory also locked up the team's first semifinal appearance in club history. And that's been a look at your sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Samantha's always on point. She doesn't miss a thing. When she signs up for any insurance policy, she reads all the fine print. She knows what's covered, what's not covered, and she's aware of her deductibles. When it comes to insurance, it pays to know your policy. Review every insurance policy so you know what you're covered for. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
The National Independence Secretariat recently hosted a 50th Independence Jubilee Day production that brought together the best of Bahamian arts and culture, held at the historic Southern Recreation Grounds, where generations of Bahamians gathered to fight for fair labor conditions, majority rule, and independence. The night's event featured a range of talented artisans, showcasing our story through dramatic prose, music, and dance. And the festivities didn't stop there. With a diverse array of Bahamian vendors on hand, providing delicious food and refreshing drinks, the crowd was energized and ready to celebrate our beloved nation's journey to independence. But this is just the beginning. There are even more exciting events and celebrations to come as we continue on our road to 50 years of independence. So join the beat and visit celebrate-bahamas.com to stay up to date on all the latest news and events.
Enter our Road to 50 Bahamas promotion by using any service at Lighthouse Point. And you could win 5 free nights. And this summer, when you book 3 nights, starting on a Friday or Saturday, we'll throw in Sunday for free. Yes, enjoy a fabulous Sunday on the beach with your 3-day Friday or Saturday booking at Lighthouse Point. Call 242-373-1333 for reservations today. Lighthouse Point.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we have a prefrontal trough, which has already entered the extreme northwest Bahamas, and that's moving towards the south and east. So we will see an increase in clouds here in the capital overnight, with showers and thunderstorms developing as we head into tomorrow. Forecast for tonight, mainly clear at first, but you'll see those clouds developing as we get into the early hours of the morning with a low temperature of 76 degrees. And then tomorrow, here's what's going to happen. Thunderstorms in parts of the area during the morning, otherwise mostly cloudy for for the greater part of the day with a high temperature of 84 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, a bit wet conditions in the morning tomorrow, and things will clear up a bit on Thursday and Friday, but you'll still have those isolated showers taking place, particularly during the morning on Thursday and Friday. But in the afternoon, it seems as though the weather's going to be pretty much okay. The weekend looking quite nice with a lot more sunshine in our forecast, but we'll have some showers and thunderstorms return to the area on Monday morning. Kishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. Now, as we close our news tonight, our Opal Roach has another feature with one of the artists performing at the ZNS Road Radio Anniversary Concert this coming Friday.
Well, Makashla, Dwayne and I are back in studio. You haven't seen us in a few days. That's because we've been so busy practicing.
You can show them how to do the healing too. Healing too. That's punk side over there.
Now, as you can see, the stage is set. We're ready. Dwayne, we are ready. We've been practicing. D-Mac had us practicing all day.
Listen.
D-Mac, tell them what.
It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard. We practiced the quad drill. We did some heel and toe, and then we do some wine. She won the competition. She won the wine down competition. But we were just getting ready. Talk about how I win the match to roach. Yeah, there was a match. He get a whole, I don't know what roach is coming from. Yeah, he get everything. The whole colony.
Boy, you better have some pancake Friday days.
And WD-42. So this is what we can do. We making it happen. It's all about Friday night. This is all about the 26th. We making things happen. ZNS, D-Mac in the place, Quad Productions, Commonwealth Recording Studios, Lester and Quest, and Vibe, keep the vibe alive.
Keep the vibe alive.
And that's what it's all about.
Come, Come, let's get that song. Which one?
This the next one. Oh, yeah. What's this? We can show them how to do the healing too. Healing too. That's punk style over there. But that's what it's all about.
So we've already danced, we sang. We know you can't wait to see what's going to happen on stage Friday. Wayne and I will be live and in living color. The backup dancers and the singers for D-Mac. Take it out, D-Mac.
Hey, let's go. You ever see a dog barking out of a car? No, we can stretch it up. Back that bum bum on me. Back that bum bum on me. Back that. No. We can stretch it up. Say she promised she gonna marry me. Oh yeah.
Well, Dwayne and Opal, you have just 2 more days to get it down pat, and I have full confidence that you will in time for the concert. That there does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. And from all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.